Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Namaskar. This is Engineer Suraj Singh speaking from Bharat, India. On this day, 22nd December 2021, Wednesday, and time is 4 in morning, 4 o'clock in morning. मैं सूरज सिंह भारत इंडिया से बोल रहा हूँ और आज दिनांक 22 दिसंबर 2021 सुबह के 4 बजे और बुधवार. टाइटल बीइंग सिविल फील्ड इंजीनियरिंग, लाइफ इंजीनियर्स कॉन्ट्रैक्ट, concrete specifications, designs and construction, methods, contracts, whatever it is, same title, but another talk. And this is my, on the screen you can see my email address, name is there, title is there, and email is suraj_engineer@yahoo.co.uk. You can, if you wish, raise any question, whatever question if you want to write regarding issue of quality, problems in quality, issue of, you can say, safety and problems in safety and whatever else. If you wish, you can write your raise questions. And this for information, this is my one certificate, this is another certificate, and this is one more for corporate membership, and therefore this is here certain quality file that I usually refer to, and this is and we cannot actually go for it thoroughly. Last time also it happened, I was discussing on this, and quality important matter which we have to consider. मैं बार बार आपसे क्वालिटी की बात करता हूँ, शायद आप भी बोर हो गए होंगे अब तक ये सुन के, क्या क्वालिटी के पीछे पड़े रहते हैं. अरे भाई, पढ़ना ज़रूरी है, क्योंकि बिकॉज क्वालिटी is very important in life, or you know it very well. As I usually say, this stock only very limited, this stock is very limited, only quality, but quality is not limited. Engineering is not limited, life is not limited, likewise quality is not limited. Gunavatta has no limit. Gun means merit, plus merit, positive merit, and you can say standards are very important in life, and quality is, of course, it is serious issue, very serious issue, but can we take it seriously? That point we have to understand. हम कितने गंभीर हैं, हम कितने गंभीर हैं अपनी लाइफ में, हम कितने गंभीर हैं अपने जीवन में. हमें कोई प्रॉब्लम आती है तो हम गंभीर तो होते हैं. And audio 00, a few minutes only, means really I have complained to them. I complained them to them many times, and there is no ear to listen to. That's very big problem. In fact, still 00, and I am sure this video is going to end. What to do? Still 00. Some only have come with very little, 2 FPS only. What I mean to say, life has to be reinstated to quality. When you say we got our problems resolved, we got some relief, in that case you can say something which you lost or something which you slipped out has come back. And you feel pleased, okay, something has come back, and I can now enjoy life better than I could enjoy in During my grief time, or you can say somebody has some condolences due to some reason. Well, it is only, you can say, same, if you same way apply your, how do you feel if that product feels which you buy. Products cannot speak to you. Products cannot speak to you how they feel, but they can demonstrate by their ill functioning, that they are not quality products. That's why I want to define. Means every product speaks a lot. Every product speaks, just like your car, when you drive, it speaks. I'm not functioning properly. There's some malfunction in my engine. Same way, you can say, when your life has malfunction, you feel little pain or little unhappiness. Same way, product tells that I'm not well, I'm not, I'm not, I've not been produced per requirement. I cannot perform. I have to perform little low degree, and you are surprised. That's what I say. You have to communicate to product also, but we can't. We say, okay, this is defective product. This not. We can dispose of on discounted price. That people think so. Purpose is just to get rid of that and not to worry about how to improve that. In quality system, we have provision. Generally, equation is plan, do, check, act. This is very common, that we have to plan something, we have to do something, we have to check what we have done, and then if we find problems, we have to set those problems right. And we can say that when you set them right, you improve it. First you bring it to senses of requirement, and then you have to think of how to improve it. So in planning, or in, you can say, procedures, rather than saying planning or quality system, we can say plan, do, check, and act. And there are 10 sections or 10 clauses in AnnexSL which we use, and those 10 cover generally our procedures. Those cover system procedures, not control procedures. Those cover something that we are able to understand. Quality system only enables everybody understand, and because it is written by organization itself, means to fill that form of quality AnnexSL of its working into certain system. It is called, AnnexSL. Of course, it is a form, you can say, it is a directive form. It gives you certain directions, and you have to write your proposed work into that direction. You may say that it is a part of communication and direction. And whatever communication you want to give to people, or you want to give to whole world, you can write in those clauses, in those you can say 10 clauses, just to let everybody know what you have to do, particular work you are doing, and according to that particular work, what's your program, how do you feel, whatever intention do you have for purpose of achieving customer satisfaction, or for delivering good product, quality product, or quality services. That's where we say we have to, and that's only a form, you can say. It's not application form, but it's working form. It's attendance form. To perform means what way you want to perform. It can cover every aspect of your project, or your business, or your technological product, or whatever you say. Communication, it is written communication, declared communication, communication to advise everybody. हर एक को बताना है दुनिया में हम क्या करेंगे, हमें क्या करना है इस काम के लिए, ये काम हमारा है, हम आपकी सेवा करना चाहते हैं, हम अपनी वस्तु जो हम बनाते हैं आपको देना चाहते हैं, और वो वस्तु आपके काम आएगी, अच्छी तरह से काम करेगी। उसके लिए हम आपको बता रहे हैं छोटा सा ब्रीफ में, कुछ पेजों में, कि हमारी कंपनी या हमारा प्रोजेक्ट किस प्रकार से काम करेगा। आपको बस समझाना है, करना तो खैर हमने ही है, आपने तो सपोर्ट करना है। इसको आप क्रियान्वित करेंगे, उसके बाद इसका लाभ उठाएंगे। इतना सा बताने के लिए हमको IS 9001 2015 में ये एनेक्स एसएल दिया। उससे पहले भी था लेकिन वो एनेक्स नहीं था। संचार बहुत आवश्यक है। कम्युनिकेशन के कितने ही रास्ते हैं आजकल। कम्युनिकेशन exists in many forms, and what is best form we use it. In engineering profession, writing is very important. If you see contract documents, you shall find hundreds of pages or thousands of pages in every major contract. Construction contract, engineering design and construction contract, which we call EPC, engineering procurement and construction contract, or you can say design services. Particularly in construction contract, one shall find volumes of documents. Those documents are clearly written in clear language. It has, formula, it has specifications, it has various conditions, it has various drawings. You can say, you speak everything and you find there in those documents, if these are really professional documents, if these are really project documents, these are really those documents which have been given, which have been produced by some professional organization management. And this all documents means with documents are of course generally produced in that way. We have to define to whoever is interested, particularly bidder or tender person, offerer, what is required to be done. Videos and audios are down, very down. It's not possible to explain by speech or by the expression of speech what you have to do. It's not possible. Drawings, specifications, contracts, conditions, or you can say vast work that is done for mega projects cannot be covered in one page. It is technical, it is managerial, it is administrative, it is contractual, it is legal, or it is technical. You can say every discipline comes into play. Therefore, documentation, or you can say written communication, confirmed communication, wayful communication, reliable communication, legally valid communication, all these communications work together at one point, and that point you can say comes from various successful coordinations of these communications. Among these communications, there are so many coordinated information and there are so many missed coordinations which do not have place, but those can be checked in, and that's what we say, check and improve. Communication and coordination topic that I have been taking up, it is very important one. Because I have been finding that level of communication and coordination has dropped, slumped to something that you can say it has become like a filloweight. Filloweight means there is no strength. It flows only, it cannot be accommodated, it cannot be compacted and consolidated. If coordination is not compacted well, it's not considered well, it's not coordinated well, what happens means nothing happens, we lose everything. We lose every achievement, and coordination is very important part. तालमेल बैठाना चीज़ों का आपस में, एक्शंस का आपस में, काम का आपस में, किसी भी स्टेज पर तालमेल बैठाना अत्यंत आवश्यक है. अगर हम तालमेल नहीं बिठा पाएंगे हम कुछ नहीं कर पाएंगे, क्योंकि काम तालमेल से होता है, काम खाली धक्का मारने से नहीं होता है. समझना पड़ेगा कहाँ कोऑर्डिनेशन आ रही है, वो कम्युनिकेटेड इन्फॉर्मेशन आपको बताएगी आपको यहाँ सोचना है या नहीं सोचना है. ये बहुत आवश्यक है. आपके पास कंस्ट्रक्शन का काम चल रहा है, आप पैनिक में हैं क्योंकि आपके पास इन्फॉर्मेशन नहीं है, और यदि इन्फॉर्मेशन है भी तो आपने उसको स्टडी नहीं किया है और काम कर रहे हैं, आप कभी भी सही काम नहीं कर पाएंगे. ये सच्चाई है. जब तक आपने एकाग्रता से, कंसंट्रेशन से स्टडी नहीं किया ड्राइंग्स को, डिटेल्स को, कंडीशंस को, स्पेसिफिकेशंस को, आप कोई भी काम सही प्रकार से नहीं कर सकते, और आप काम को उन लोगों पे छोड़ देंगे कि उसके बारे में कुछ नहीं जानते, बस काम करते हैं, चाहे वो गलत ही क्यों ना हो. ऐसा होता है. We have to care about coordination of activities, all activities, every activity during work, and particularly in construction world. If we do not coordinate, we lie to ourselves, and if we are engineers, we cheat ourselves. I don't know reason behind that. You are duty bound, you are responsibility bound to go through all documents, and even if you are a designer or a specifier, you have to understand all these points, and you have to correlate all these requirements which you are going to include onto that document, onto that project. First you have to think on them, analyze everything, what's requirement, and how do you want to propose that requirement to equalize. Only then you can say, you can answer questions. And questions also you have to raise yourself. Nobody will give you questions there. Because you are an engineer, you should know what is the requirement of client or what is the requirement of project that you are going to do. What questions must be raised, and you raise yourself those questions because you have trained for that, to raise questions and to resolve them. What are risk factors during that activity? You have to resolve them. You have to think, and you have to think them. It's not difficult anyway if you're an experienced person. Communication and coordination, in fact, remains very easy. It's very easy when you are experienced, and you can move on this. If you write or read or understand, if you see a problem, analyze, you get every answer, and those answers can be collected together, and that's what we can say. If they can combine together, they can move together, they can work together, and that's what we can say coordinated information. I'm stressing here, there's some reason behind that. Though this topic, communication and coordination, has been brought by me a little late, no problem, because first we have to understand what we have to talk. Here we talk of, specifications, we talk of contracts, as well as we talk of design and construction and contracts, methods and disputes, etc., as we're doing. I've been talking about concrete, and concrete is a very important material. We cannot deny that fact. Concrete is such a material that it's itself a verb also. Itself with so many so many types of parts of speech. It can be said do concrete work, or you can say it's a concrete material, or it's a concrete action. Everywhere concrete is different. He says, oh, it's a concrete word because it's a solid word. Concrete indicates solid function also. solid, it's solid, it's strong, you can say. Concrete is a material as well, because concrete is a material that imports many ingredients into this, and all ingredients are excellent. They have certain inert properties, means they combine together by cementing material, and it results in solidification of that material, and you can, that's called concrete. Same way, problems or research which we have to do some work in other activities, and this is concrete result. This their decision is concrete one. And there too we use concrete, but that's not from material viewpoint, that is from some indication viewpoint. So concrete is a material in our case, in our projects, construction projects, in design, civil engineering designs, or you can say public engineering design rather than civil engineering design, because civil engineering extends to every part of life. It's not because I am a civil engineer I am trying to promote it. There's no requirement, because civil engineering doesn't need any promotion. It promotes itself because it's basics of life. And in this case, communication and coordination, I would say we have to be excellent in understanding this. And if we can't understand this, let's say how to go with this, and we can say, okay, curing of form surface happens. It's better for everybody to refresh. So let's say water for curing. Water used for curing purposes shall conform to requirement of part 4 of this section. We'll see later on what is this section. Water, again signals are 0. Water used for curing purpose shall conform to requirements of part 4 of this section, and general requirements are general requirements are you can say, freshly placed concrete shall be protected from sun, wind, rain exposure and excessive drying out. It says it's 4:30. So you can say freshly freshly placed concrete shall be protected from sun. Freshly placed concrete shall be protected from sun, wind, rain, exposure and excessive drying out. All concrete shall be cured for a period of time required to obtain full specified strength. All concrete shall be cured for a period of time required to obtain its specified strength, but not less than 7 consecutive days. Method of curing shall be by water for first 7 days, and by water or membrane until concrete has reached full specified strength. So it is said 7 days, but it depends on what is specified. This is general requirement, this is not specific one. We can say all concrete shall be cured for a period of time required to obtain full specified strength, but 7 days is specified minimum, and that's consecutive days, no gap. 0, 0. Method of curing shall be by water for first 7 days. Method of curing shall be by water for first 7 days, and by water or membrane until concrete has reached full specified strength. For mixture, between placement and final finishing of concrete. We can say here, okay. So what we say here is all concrete shall be cured for a period of time required to obtain full specified strength, but not less than 7 consecutive days. Method of curing should be by water. Method of curing shall be done by water for first 7 days and by water or membrane until concrete has reached full specified strength. For mixtures with a low to zero bleeding rate, or in case of aggressively evaporative environment, whatever time between placement and final finishing of concrete. Using fogging system and use of evaporation reducers such as monomolecular water curing compounds. Monomolecular water curing compounds. Exposed surfaces shall be protected from airborne contamination. Exposed surfaces shall be protected from airborne contamination until 28 days after concrete is placed. 28 days we say because expected to be achieved. Exposed surfaces shall be protected from airborne contamination until 28 days after concrete is placed and it gets full strength. Method of curing ensures that sufficient moisture is present to complete hydration of cement. And it should be approved. It should be approved by engineer. And you can say whatever method is adopted, it should not disfigure permanently exposed surface. Means our curing system should not our curing system should not disfigure permanently exposed surface that is going to be exposed. It should remain as it is in its natural form. It should not be impacted upon by process of curing. Affect bonding of subsequent coating. We have to apply plaster, we have to apply something else onto that. That should not impact upon bonding that has access between two materials, concrete surface and that application of coating protection. Affect bonding of subsequent coating. Increase temperature of concrete. So we can say temperature should not be increased because it should be decreased. During on surface of concrete shall not be applied. When there is building water on surface, we should not apply curing compound. For example, you can say, or whatever liquid membrane we have. Applied film of liquid membrane shall be continuous. When we spray curing compound, let us say, just an example, it should be uniformly applied. Applied film of liquid membrane shall be continuous and must be protected from rain and other damages for at least 14 days. Curing after removing shutters, or you can say de-shuttering. In such cases concrete surface be prepared prior to application of membrane as recommended by membrane manufacturer. It's a kind of membrane, you can say it's a kind of layer that's formed on surface of column or on wall. Of course, it's not visible, but what is purpose do you think? What shall we do with this membrane or this layer that's formed on the concrete surface? Its purpose is that it has to keep water between this membrane and surface of concrete intact. This means there should be water. There should be presence of water between surface of concrete and membrane, which also says that before applying curing compound on that surface, purpose is that when you sprinkle water on that concrete surface and then apply curing compound, water not flooding, because on vertical surface water can't stagnate. Therefore, only moist water or moist surface should be therefore until no evaporation is done, that water will not go away and keep that surface within temperature limit. Evaporation of concrete compound be allowed by that membrane, and that's purpose of membrane, to protect water inside. It's not that membrane cure itself, it doesn't matter. We have to be a little different in understanding. If you go through complete catalog or data sheet of some manufacturer, you will find like this statement I'm saying, we have to stop, you can say, evaporation by providing indirect presence of water, which water shall be there for long term until membranes, the effect would be there. And there are two ways, you can say, generally, I mean say, the two types of curing compounds in field. One is water based and other one is wax based. Water based constitutes a water membrane, whereas your wax-based is a kind of wax membrane. Only difference is, if you technically understand it, water-based curing compound is lesser effective than wax-based curing compound. I think water-based doesn't exceed 60 to 70% effect, whereas wax-based is fully effective. But problem lies in that if you apply wax-based, in that case this membrane shall be there of at least, it takes 6 months for degradation of that, probably 6 months, and maybe you don't have time of 6 months to wait for another application on concrete surface. So that when you want to do another application, either you have to use decomposition compound or degrading compound, you can say, or you have to use it, ship out everything before applying other one. Means it's little difficult, but practically it happens that we scabble concrete itself if you have to plaster. Yeah, if it's fair face concrete, it's different. Means it's fair face concrete, we are not going to do anything, we are not going to hack this surface. It happens, and we have directly either apply epoxy coating on that, or we have to apply some other finishes on that, or whatever texture we get of fair face, that's permanent texture on this. Probably we may apply some pro. Unformed surfaces. We talked of formed surfaces. Unformed surface also means every surface requires protection. Unformed, where no form exists, and unformed surfaces shall be protected as soon as possible after concrete has been placed by polythene sheeting. Just like it happens on slabs, particularly, we spread polythene sheet immediately after little finishing for protection of evaporation. So we can say unformed surfaces shall be protected as soon as possible after concrete has been placed by polythene sheeting. When sufficiently hard it is and kept wet for required period. Hessian shall be overlaid with a sheet of 1000 gauge polythene to assist in retention of water. Alternatively, a curing method approved by engineer may be used. Again, signals falling. Wet Asian for required curing period. Moisture curing. Moisture, you understand very well what is moisture. Moisture curing should be performed by to hold. I know this is not working. I don't know reason why it's happening. Every day this problem. Same Airtel was efficient one time, and it has gone into darkness. I can say I don't know what to do. Some signals are back, 67.7 kbps video. Little more, like continue. So I think I should continue currently. Covering surface of concrete. Covering surface of concrete with water. Covering surface of concrete with water and keeping it continuously wet, that's one method. Covering surface of concrete with water and keeping it continuously wet. We usually do that, particularly on slabs, on suspended slabs. Continuous use of fine fog water spray. Fog water spray. Continuous use of fine fog water sprays. Covering surface with a saturated absorptive cover and keeping it continuously wet. Burlap, cotton, mats and other absorbent materials can be used to hold water on horizontal or vertical surfaces. Wet straw or hay can be used for wet curing small areas, but there is danger that wind might displace it unless it's held down with screen wire, burlap or other means. But there is danger that wind might displace it unless it is held down with screen wire, burlap or other means. Where method is employed, a method water method is employed, bunds used shall not be made from fill from excavations or any other areas where there is possibility of chloride contamination. This is talked about soil. We should not use soil that can contain chloride. So we have to use sand or possibly you can say river sand. Reta we call in Hindi, or you can say ramal, you can use that for that purpose, and around in compartments we can fill water. Moisture retention absorptive covering, that's what we say. Say concrete surface is covered with suitable absorptive covering such as wet condition. Absorptive covering shall be overlaid with a 1000 gauge polythene sheet as we discussed before. Cover be in widest practical width and have penetrations or tear in covering. Penetrations or tear in covering shall be repaired with same material and waterproof tape. This is one point here, you can say. Now liquid membrane curing. Liquid membrane curing be in accordance with requirement of BS 7542 ASTM laboratory tests for determining efficiency of liquid membrane forming compounds. Membrane forming curing compounds shall be applied in accordance with manufacturer's recommendations immediately after water sheen, which may develop after finishing has disappeared from surface, and within 2 hours of stripping formwork on formed surfaces. What we say, membrane forming curing compound shall be applied in accordance with manufacturer's recommendations immediately after whatever water sheen which may develop after finishing has disappeared from surface and within 2 hours of stripping formwork on formed surfaces. We have to wait maximum period 2 hours within which we have to apply water you can say curing compound on surface once you step out from work. Membrane forming compounds, membrane forming curing compounds shall not be used on surfaces against which additional concrete or other material is to be bonded. Means additional material, against concrete or other materials to be bonded unless it is proven that curing compound shall not prevent bond, as I said before. Unless it is proven that curing compound shall not prevent bond or positive measures are taken. Positive measures are taken to remove it, as we said before. Same thing is here. Against which additional concrete or other material is to be bonded, unless it's proven that curing compound shall not prevent bond, or positive measures are taken to remove it completely from those areas which are to receive bonded applications on fair face concrete surfaces. That's the use of this compound. Now steam curing. Steam curing. And steam is first of all very important activity. It cures very fast every material, and particularly precast formed around concrete using tarpaulin or other suitable means. It's what says an enclosure is required, or you can say a temporary cubicle is required. An enclosure shall be formed around concrete using tarpaulin or other suitable means. Application of steam shall not be commenced until at least 2 hours after final placement of concrete. At least 2 hours you have to wait before applying steam. Application of steam shall not be commenced until at least 2 hours after final placement of concrete. Steam shall be applied at temperature between 65 degrees and 80 degrees. That's very important point. 65 degrees Celsius to 80 degrees Celsius. Celsius I'm talking 65 to 80 degrees. It's a good temperature. Our body itself is very, I think 27 degrees, right? So you can say 65 degrees. It's very hot as far as weather is concerned. So we can say 65 degrees to 80 degrees. You can say lesser than boiling temperature, of course, because that's 100 degrees approximately. So it is lesser than that, and that is steam. Or you can say little, you are cooking a tea, you're cooking tea portion, and it's not boiling, but it's near boiling. And when water can jump on, it tries to ooze out, and you can say that stage, that steam temperature, whatever steam. We do not want to apply excessive rate of heating and cooling. That's what it says. Excessive rates of heating and cooling shall be prevented during steam. Steam curing activity. and temperatures in enclosure shall not be allowed wherever it's done. It's very important for them because on sites it's not possible to do all this. Steam, first of all, is not available on sites, so very difficult, and we can't do that in weather. Temporary work is done weather, open weather. So on sites it's not really possible. Yes, in factories where precast part of automation, so that's not a problem. But if you do it on individual basis on sites, it's beyond imagination. It's beyond imagination. So these are important point. This temperature controls every engineer, who works in field or who works in designs. They don't really have information on this, which is a drawback because we just design. And we have to consider technology also. It's not simply design that can work in engineering. Engineering is actually a technical application that we have to care out. Maybe it's a reality, but we don't realize the fact. So we have to keep in mind variation of 22 degree maximum, and steam working temperature should be 65 to 80 degrees, 65 to 80 degrees Celsius, and we have to wait for 2 hours after concrete placement to commence with steam application. And we have to arrange one enclosure, that's tarpaulin or other suitable means which does not allow release of steam. So we can say maximum steam temperature shall be maintained in enclosure until concrete has reached its specified strength. Now, pavements and other slab and ground that no plastic shrinkage cracks will occur. That is point we want doing steam curing, that we do not see any plastic shrinkage cracks. Curing ensures that no plastic shrinkage crack occurs. This can be done by protective measures such as sun shield, wind breaks, evaporation reducers, or fog spraying should be initiated immediately to reduce evaporation. It's very important in one line that we have to control plastic shrinkage, and that is where curing is answer. Curing ensures that no plastic shrinkage crack occurs, which can be done by protective measures such as we use sun shields or we use wind breaks, evaporation reducers. Replaced by a liquid membrane forming curing compound. Plastic sheeting, reinforced paper, straw or water. Zero signals, so I repeat, signals are 0, not coming back. I mean, what I spoke has not gone to record. I repeat, some signals, only some signals. Mats used for curing can either be left in place and kept saturated for completion of curing, or can be subsequently replaced by liquid membrane forming curing compound, plastic sheeting, reinforced paper, straw or water, buildings, bridges and other. It has hardened. After concrete has hardened, and while forms are still in place after concrete has hardened, while forms are still in place on vertical and other form surfaces, form ties may be loosened when damage to concrete will not occur, and water applied to run down on inside of form to keep concrete wet. Very simple it is, everybody understands it. What you say, now concrete is hardened, you are going to cure it. You can loosen tie bolts or you can do something and pour water on top. After concrete has hardened, and when fire forms are still in place on vertical and on other form surfaces, form ties may be loosened when damage to concrete cannot occur, and water applied to run down on inside of form to keep concrete wet. Care shall be taken. Care shall be taken to prevent thermal shock. Care shall be taken to prevent thermal shock. Cracks when using water. Thermal shock and cracks. When using water that is significantly cooler than concrete surface, curing water should not be more than about 11 degree cooler than concrete. Curing water should not be more than about 11 degrees Celsius cooler than concrete. Again, I say care shall be taken to thermal shock, prevent thermal shock and cracks. Thermal shock and cracks. When using water that is significantly cooler, water is cooler than concrete surface, it should not be it should not be more than 11 degrees difference. Curing water should not be more than about 11 degree cooler than concrete. Concrete temperature is higher, water is lower, but there is a maximum gap, maximum difference in temperature of surface of concrete and temperature of water, and that maximum limit is 11 degrees Celsius, not more than that, to avoid thermal shock and cracks. And immediately following from form removal, surface shall be kept continuously wet. Surface shall be kept continuously wet. Immediately following form removal, surface shall be kept continuously wet by surfaces shall be kept continuously wet by a water spray or water saturated fabric or until membrane forming compound is applied. Mass curing, mass concrete. However, this can be counterproductive when temperature gradient between warmer interior and cooler surface generates stress in concrete. Try to get this point. Massive concrete is often cured with water for additional cooling benefit in warm weather. However, this can be counterproductive when temperature gradient between warmer interior of massive concrete and cooler surface generates stress in concrete. Thermal stresses are induced in because of this. Higher heat within concrete and cooler water, cooled water. This gap, this gradient people generally say that it has to be water cured for additional benefit of cooling, but it is reverse. It's not true because higher difference in temperature between concrete heat and water can cause problems. There can be thermal gradient problem which can lead to stresses in concrete due to thermal application. Thermal gradient that we have seen, lowest temperature and highest temperature, gap is more. Therefore, horizontal or sloping unformed surfaces. Horizontal and sloping unformed surfaces for vertical and other formed surfaces. For vertical and other formed surfaces, after concrete has hardened, for vertical and other formed surfaces, after concrete is hardened and forms are still in place, form ties may be loosened and water supplied to run down inside of form to keep concrete wet. Vertical and uniform surfaces after concrete has hardened and forms are still in place, form ties can be loosened and water supplied to run down inside of form to keep concrete wet. Care to be taken to prevent thermal shock and cracks when using water that's significantly cooler than concrete surface. Curing water should not be more than about 11 degrees cooler than concrete. Curing starts soon as concrete has hardened sufficiently to hardened sufficiently to prevent surface damage. Curing shall start as soon as concrete has hardened sufficiently to prevent surface damage. For unreinforced massive section, not containing ground granulated blast furnace slag or pozzolana, curing shall be continued for not less than 2 weeks. For unreinforced massive sections not containing ground granulated blast furnace slag or GGBS pozzolana, curing shall be continued for not less than 2 weeks. Where ground granulated blast furnace slag or pozzolana is included in concrete, minimum time for curing shall be not less than 3 weeks, because it is slow setting concrete, or you can say, of course, it's non-shrinkage, but because of initial setting is slow in case of pozzolanic materials, in case of GGBS, you can say. So it says when you use ordinary concrete, we use OPC. For massive block, this is 2 weeks curing, and when we use GGBS or something else like PPFA or amica silica, it means that you have to do 50% more. In case of 2 weeks, it should be 3 weeks. That is curing. For reinforced mass concrete, this is talked of concrete that is plain, that has no reinforcement. But when you talk of RCC, curing shall be continuous for minimum 7 days. Minimum 7 days, or until 70% of specified compressive strength is obtained. If strength is key concrete performance criteria, if strength is considered key concrete performance criteria for construction joints, curing shall be continued until resumption of concrete placement or until required curing period is completed. Construction joints, when we talk of that, curing shall be continued until resumption of concrete placement or until required curing period is completed. Curing shall not stop until favorable differential temperature is attained and at approval by engineer. Concrete shall not stop until favorable differential temperature is attained. For massive concrete, thermocouples shall be used to monitor temperature differential of concrete. People do not use them, it's not true. In many countries, thermocouples are used to make sure that temperature difference within internal concrete, or you can say inside of that block concrete, hardened concrete, and outside in here, what are difference of temperatures, and we can start curing. We can say mass concrete thermocouples shall be used to monitor temperature difference of concrete. Through concrete part, placing of concrete, this was very important because placing activity is ultimately end result of product, of structure. It's permanent work when you do placement of concrete, and concrete placement is very responsible activity, one should say, We should attract attention of every responsible personnel and particularly contractor representative as well as engineer. Both must be responsible for good placement, for required placement of concrete, because it is only this stage of this project or this item concrete that is placing. If concrete placing is good, it is per specifications and acceptance and it's satisfactory, then whatever designs we have done result in positive approach. We could not have any guilt in mind or in heart. I did not do that well, that's why I did my job well. It's not because we're going to pay or not to be paid, that's different, but responsibility factor is very significant. Now we go to reinforcement. We say that in general, scope references, submittals, quality assurance or requirement, delivery, storage and handling. And reinforcing materials, reinforcing bars, welded steel wire fabric, tie wire, inspection, samples and testing, sampling, testing, and then cutting and bending and reinforcement, you can say. Reinforcement forms and linings, tanking, adjustments and cleaning. And here we have to start with reinforcement. It's likewise every talk, every chapter. We are going to study this also informatively, so we can at least get some information about works, what we check, what we don't check. As I said, reinforcement in general said this part includes tension, compression and temperature reinforcing steel. Tension, compression and temperature reinforcing steel, including welded wire fabric, WWF. Generally that is mesh. We call sometimes in common language, where is BRC? BRC has no relation except that BRC is a company in industry name that also produces reinforcement in form of fabrics or in form of welded fabric. So this is tension, compression and temperature we have to think of in this concrete. And of course we have to talk of epoxy coated reinforcing bars. And this work of reinforcement includes furnishing of material, fabrication and placement of reinforcement for cast in place concrete, including bars, welded wire fabric, ties and supports. Miscellaneous one and structural precast concrete. And we can see references as well. And plain carbon steel bars for concrete reinforcement. Specification for allow low alloy steel deform bars for concrete reinforcement. Standard specifications for steel wire, deformed steel relieved or low relaxation for pressed concrete railroad ties. Standard specification for steel wire, deformed filled epoxy coated 7 wire pre-stressing steel strand. Standard specification for deformed and plain stainless steel bars for concrete reinforcement. Say standard specification for deformed and plain stainless steel wire and welded wire fabric for concrete reinforcement. Deformed and plain low carbon chromium steel bars for concrete reinforcement. Specification for carbon steel bars. Specification for carbon steel bars. Again same problem, videos and audio 0 and framing is also 5 fps. Specification for carbon steel bars for reinforcement of concrete. Specification for cold reduced steel wire for reinforcement of concrete. For cold reduced steel wire for reinforcement of concrete. Steel fabric for reinforcement of concrete. Steel fabric for reinforcement of concrete. Specification for high tensile steel. Specification for high tensile steel wire and strand for pre-stressing of concise concrete. Specification for high tensile steel wire and strand for pre-stressing of concrete. Specification for scheduling, dimensioning, bending and cutting of steel reinforcement for concrete. Specification for scheduling, dimensioning, bending and cutting of steel reinforcement for concrete. Welding, recommendation for welding of metallic material. The design of concrete structures, general rules and use for building. Epoxy coated steel for reinforcement of concrete. Epoxy powder and sealing material for coating of steel for reinforcement. Construction drawings, of course. Construction drawings, simplified representation of concrete reinforcement, quality organization management systems, fundamentals and vocabulary. And we can say in Qatar standards, steel for reinforcement of concrete Part 1 plain bars, Part 2 rib bars, and Part 3 for so that's what we say. Steel for reinforcement of the concrete. Part 1, Part 2, Part 3. Part 1 is plain bars, Part 2 is rib bars, and Part 3 is welded fabric. Submittals. Product data. Product data including manufacturer's specification and installation instructions for proprietary materials and reinforcement accessories shall be provided. Product data, including manufacturer's specification and